to where you are now. He got back into somewhat the drug business. He didn't quite stop what he was doing, and he had an untimely death where his wife actually shot and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
That was your best friend. You knew what he was going through after you came out. So you knew his struggle with the entire addiction to money, addiction to getting money, and selling the drugs. What was your relationship with him like once you guys came out, and how did his death affect you?
Well, Tommy basically was always under a lot of pressure, trying to live up to this father-son relationship with his dad. And see, that's something that I cannot fathom, because I didn't have that type of life. I didn't get a chance to experience a dad. So Tommy and his father had this mixed relationship. And Tommy, on one hand, had this heart of gold and he wanted to do well, but he was almost like the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And that's what we hide behind. We can act as though on the surface we're a good person, and then we could be dealing drugs. And then you look at the person, oh no, just like with myself, a person wouldn't know unless someone told them firsthand that, hey, look, I deal drugs with him. They can't just look at you and say you're a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even though you can have the cars, the rims, or whatever, but you could work for a Fortune 500 company. Not a CEO, just work for them and make $80,000, $100,000 a year, $50,000 or $60,000 a year. If you budget your money, you can have those things. But getting back to Tommy, Tommy was always having to live up to someone else's expectations, because they felt Tommy was a provider, and Tommy was always looked upon as such. So Tommy had to get money, and the getting of money is always going to be an issue of legal or illegal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you cannot get legal money as fast as you can get illegal money. So Tommy would always go out and do those licks, as he would call it. He would hit licks to provide other people with the monies or the fruits of his labor. And Tommy would always be at odds. Like, you know, Tommy went to prison a couple of times, and when he went in, he would get the spiritual level. Mm-hmm. But then when he get out, he would go back to mixing it. And you know, you cannot serve God and mammon, and that's what I pointed out earlier. And Tommy would get caught up in the vacuum. And see, this thing is deeper than the eyes can behold. It's psychological. It's a spiritual. It's that on high wickedness. You know, we fight not against flesh and blood. It's that wickedness in high places, and we're dealing with the psychology of man. And man has a desire to do well, but we call it money crimes today. Money crimes are committed simply because we want and desire things, because it's projected on videos, on TV programs, just like on the Super Bowl. They have all these things promoted. They spend $5 million for 30 seconds to capture you as an individual. Well, that's the same thing with the drug life. It doesn't take long for you to get hooked on drugs or hooked on making money off of selling drugs. So Tommy would have good intention, but at the end of the day, it would be bad results, because he would get caught up in saying, hey, look, I got to go hit this lick so I can provide for my children or provide for my girlfriend's wife, mother, whoever. You know, and then Tommy would go and hit those licks, and he would spend more money on other people than most of the time he would spend on himself. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say he was having a problem of living up to our old lifestyle. Our old lifestyle, he was not able to deal with a lot of responsibility. I basically dealt with that. I made sure that we had everything that we needed as far as when we went out and made the money. When we made the money, I was the one who was the accountant. and I made sure that everything was taken care of. So when Tommy got in a position to be his own accountant, he would spend the money, like it was nothing. Then that would put him in a position to have to go hit what? Another lick.